How are you feeling about your email list right now? The chances are you're feeling frustrated, either because you can't grow your list as fast as you'd like, or because you're just not communicating with the list that you do have as often as you'd like, or perhaps both. Well, in today's Business Class Monday, I'm going to be talking to you about some great tips for writing emails to your customers that they'll absolutely love. Hi, I'm Colette Broomhead and I'm a business coach. I help people who want to quit their 9-to-5 for good and create a business doing what they love. And this is Business Class Monday. So today we're finishing our month of copywriting by focusing specifically on how to write great emails. And that will lead us very nicely into next month's topic, which is email marketing. So emails are something which people seem to really struggle with. I think people feel that it's somehow pushy, a bit salesy, almost a bit icky to be sending emails to people. It feels a bit over-aggressive perhaps. And so we tend to avoid it. We build the email list because we know we should, we're all told we've got to build our email list, but then do nothing with it. The fact is, sending someone an email who has subscribed to your list is neither pushy nor salesy, and in fact it's a great way to give them value and to build that relationship with them. So let's start by looking at a few tips for writing emails that your subscribers are going to love. Tip number 1, focus on your subject line and give it the respect it deserves. So before I set up my own business, I worked for a FTSE 30 company for 13 years, and for part of that time I was working in email marketing, and it had never occurred to me until I started working in that area the importance of a subject line. You could put hours, days, weeks of effort into creating an email, getting the perfect content, the design, the images, everything just right. But if your subject line isn't good enough, no one's going to open the email and actually see all that effort that you've put in. Now I feel a little bit like a repeating record because I was saying exactly the same thing just a few weeks ago about writing your blog headlines, and it's the same rule, it's the same principle. If you can't catch people's attention, if you can't engage them enough to make them want to click, whether it be to click onto your blog post or to click to open your email, then all the other effort that you've put in is just for nothing. So give your subject line the respect it deserves and make sure it's going to engage your readers and make them open that email. Tip number 2 is all about personalisation. The beauty of sending someone an email is that you are getting straight to their inbox, and that's the same place where they receive emails from their friends, from their family, and you don't want to seem out of place there. So your email needs to treat them as a person as much as possible. So at a basic level, using their first name in your greeting, hello John, hello Kate, and so on. That's a basic level. In fact, that's something that people have now come to expect. But look at other ways that you can make your email as personal as possible. No matter how big your email list, it should still feel like you are just writing to one person when they open that email in their inbox. So things like talking about you, not talking about you guys or we or some kind of group collective thing. You are talking to one person in your email, and the person that opens your email needs to feel like that one person is you. Now there are other sort of more sophisticated ways that you can start to do this as well, by segmenting your email list. So depending on the email service that you have, you should be able to start to group the people on your list by interests or by demographics or whatever makes sense for your business, so that you can actually start speaking to them more directly and more specifically So rather than speaking to your whole list as one, you can actually create more tailored messaging depending which group, which segment they fall into. So start to look at ways that you can perhaps begin doing that with your email list as well. Tip number 3, be brief and keep it relevant. We're all busy, and the last thing that you want is for your email to waste someone's time, because the second someone feels like you are wasting their time, they're going to hit unsubscribe, and that's your lost chance to build that relationship with them and perhaps potentially make a sale. So you need to keep people's interest, and the way to do that is not waste their time. So be brief. People are busy, they don't want to read a massive essay unless it's super value filled and you can keep their attention. So generally speaking, keep it brief and keep it as relevant as possible. Just give them the core details that they need. For example, if you want to tell them to check out your blog post, you don't need to put the blog post in the email, just put a link to the blog post so that those who are interested and like the sound of what you've described can click and read the blog post. But those that aren't interested and perhaps you haven't quite sort of whet their appetite enough, don't have to click. So just always have in mind when you're writing your emails, is this going to be valuable? Am I wasting anyone's time? Am I making people to do unnecessary things that's going to eventually lead them to unsubscribe? Tip number 4. So tip number 4 is all about aligning your message and integrating your email marketing with all your other marketing activities. So by that I mean, don't treat email as completely separate from social media and as completely separate as perhaps content marketing, blogging and so on. Everything that you're doing, all the communication that you have going on in all of these different channels should all be aligned, and it should all be leading your customers in the same direction. So whatever your goal may be, whatever it is that you're selling, ultimately that is where you're taking people. So make sure that what you're emailing people about is aligned with what you're talking about on social media, which in turn is aligned with what you're talking about on your blog or in your videos or on your podcasts. So that everywhere people see your messaging and people see your content, it feels like it's knit together, it feels like it makes sense and it's logical. So have that in mind when you're trying to think what to email people. Is this going to fit with everything else that I've got going on at the moment on my other channels too? And then lastly, tip number 5. And this is about how to write an email. So I think there's this kind of belief that there's a specific skill when it comes to writing an email as opposed to writing a blog post or writing web content or whatever it may be. There really isn't. I mean, there are various best practices, of course, and I'm sure, Google email best practices and you can kind of find them pretty easily. But when it comes to your tone, when it comes to what to write, just be you. This is your business. These are people who have subscribed to hear more of what you have to say. So go with your gut, go with your brand, and be you, and you won't go far wrong. So those are my 5 tips for writing emails that your readers will love. Let me know how you get on, and let me know if you found them helpful. If you do struggle with writing emails, then I have created a template for you for the perfect welcome series. So it's 5 emails over a 10-day period, and it helps to introduce you and your business to a new subscriber. It helps to deepen your relationship with them, and it helps to build trust and ultimately lead to a sale. So if you'd be interested in getting your hands on that template and starting to implement it in your own business, then there is a link where you can sign up for that below, and there's also a link on the blog post which is connected with this video. So do go ahead and get yourself a copy of that, and I'll see you next week. Bye.